The Emperor in the Storm. Imagine standing perfectly still while the entire world burns around you. No anger, no anxiety, no desperate urge to strike back or defend yourself. To the modern mind, this sounds like a fantasy, an impossible standard of emotional detachment. But 2,000 years ago, it was the daily reality of Marcus Aurelius. As the Emperor of Rome, he held absolute dominion over the Western world. Yet his life was a relentless cascade of chaos. He was betrayed by his most trusted general and closest friend, Avidius Cassius. He watched 8 of his children die before their time. He fought brutal, bloody wars on the frozen borders of the empire, all while a devastating plague decimated his people. By all accounts of modern psychology, he should have broken down. Instead, he wrote a private journal, now known as Meditations, to remind himself how to remain completely untouchable. He knew that the chaos of the world cannot be controlled, but the chaos of the mind can be mastered. In this video, we are breaking down the 10 foundational rules of the Stoic blueprint for absolute emotional mastery. If you are tired of being reactive, tired of letting toxic people dictate your mood, and ready to forge a mind of solid rock, listen to every word of this guide. Let us begin. Rule 1. The dichotomy of control. Epictetus, a man born into the brutal chains of Roman slavery who became one of history's greatest minds, wrote these words: "Some things are in our control and others not." This is the single most important rule of Stoicism. Most of your anxiety does not come from your problems. It comes from trying to control things you physically cannot. You cannot control the traffic, the economy, the algorithms, or the malice of other people. The only things truly in your power are your thoughts, your intentions, and your responses. When you encounter a crisis, ruthlessly divide it into 2 categories. If it is outside your control, look it in the eye and say, "This is none of my business." Save your energy for the battle inside your own mind. Rule 2. The dark art of silence. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, famously observed, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we should listen more than we speak." In the modern world, silence is often mistaken for weakness, but in reality, it is the ultimate position of leverage. When someone insults you, mocks you, or tries to draw you into an argument, they're baiting you. They want your reaction because your reaction gives them power. If you respond with anger, you prove that their words wounded you. But when you respond with a cold, unblinking, deadpan silence, the dynamic completely flips. Your silence acts as a mirror, forcing them to confront their own insecurity and weakness. Speak only when your words are more valuable than your silence. Rule 3. The 24-hour buffer. Seneca, a billionaire statesman and brilliant Stoic advisor, wrote extensively about the destructive nature of anger. He called it a temporary madness, stating, "Delay is the greatest remedy for anger." When an event triggers a powerful emotional response, whether it's a toxic email from a boss or a betrayal by a friend, your primal brain demands an immediate strike. This is where most people destroy their lives. They speak or act on impulse. The Stoic masters a simple practice, the buffer. Force yourself to wait exactly 24 hours before you respond to a provocation. Sleep on it. Let the chemical surge of adrenaline leave your bloodstream. When you finally address the issue from a place of cold, calculated logic, you will operate with devastating precision. Rule 4. Expect human depravity. Every morning before the sun rose over Rome, Marcus Aurelius sat down and wrote a warning to himself. The people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. This sounds cynical, but it is actually the ultimate psychological defense mechanism. Disappointment is the child of unrealistic expectations. If you go through life expecting everyone to be kind, honest, and loyal, you will be constantly shattered by reality. When someone betrays you or cheats you, do not take it personally. A dog barks, a snake bites, and a deeply flawed person acts deceptively. It is simply their nature. By expecting the worst in human behavior, you ensure that nothing can ever shock or destabilize you. Rule 5. Amor fati, love your fate. Marcus Aurelius used a powerful metaphor to describe how a master handles tragedy. A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it. When bad luck strikes, when you lose your job, your money, or a long-term relationship, the average person collapses into a victim mentality, asking, "Why me?" The Stoic completely reverses this. The concept of amor fati demands that you do not merely tolerate your hardships, you must choose to love them. See every setback as raw training material provided by the universe to test your resolve. If your life was smooth and easy, you would remain soft and untested. The fire needs fuel to grow. Use your pain to forge a stronger version of yourself. Rule 6. Disconnect from the crowd. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. Marcus Aurelius identified this bizarre human contradiction centuries ago. If your self-worth depends entirely on the approval, validation, and compliments of other people, you are not a free individual. You are a slave. You have handed the remote control of your emotions over to the crowd. If they applaud, you feel high. If they criticize, you fall into despair. Build an internal scorecard. Judge your success purely by your own character, your work ethic, and your adherence to your own principles. If you know you did the right thing, the opinions of onlookers are completely irrelevant. Rule 7. Agree and amplify. Epictetus taught a masterclass in handling public disrespect with sheer indifference. He stated, "If anyone tells you that a person speaks ill of you, do not make excuses, but answer, 'He was ignorant of my other faults, else he would not have mentioned these alone.'" When someone tries to insult your intelligence, your appearance, or your status, do not get defensive. Defensiveness is an admission of guilt and vulnerability. Instead, weaponize humor. Agree with their insult. Exaggerate it to an absurd degree and smile. By stripping the insult of its power to hurt you, you completely neutralize the weapon. It shows the aggressor that their opinion holds zero weight in your reality. Rule 8. Practice voluntary hardship. Seneca advised his wealthy friends to set aside a certain number of days each month to live on the scantiest fare and roughest dress, asking themselves, "Is this the condition that I feared?" The primary source of anxiety in the modern world is the fear of loss, the fear of losing comfort, status, or luxury. This fear makes people cowardly and compliant. To break this trap, you must deliberately step into discomfort. Take freezing cold showers. Sleep on the floor occasionally. Fast for 24 hours. When you voluntarily expose yourself to the things you fear losing, you realize that your mind is entirely capable of surviving without them. You become immune to the threat of poverty or hardship. Rule 9. Memento mori, remember death. Every Stoic philosopher carried a profound awareness of their own mortality. As Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. When you get caught up in petty arguments, social media drama, or minor anxieties, your perspective is warped. You are acting as if you will live forever. Memento mori is the ultimate filter for triviality. When you feel overwhelmed, look at the problem through the lens of your inevitable death. Ask yourself, will this issue matter on my deathbed? 99% of the things you stress about today will dissolve into nothingness when viewed from the ultimate perspective. Rule 10, let your results make the noise. The final rule of emotional mastery is to stop talking about your virtue and start living it. Marcus Aurelius cut straight to the point. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. The weak person feels an intense urge to announce their plans, showcase their discipline, and prove their worth to onlookers on social media. They want the dopamine hit of success without doing the actual work. The true Stoic moves in complete obscurity. They don't announce their workouts, their investments, or their self-improvement journey. They quietly build their empire, master their impulses, and let their massive real-world results do all the talking. Control your thoughts, or they will control you.